At this time each year, and any other year, we would have gathered in person for a time of remembrance for those who have died within the last 12 months.
This year, we recognize the circumstances are simply different. All of us from Hospice of the Midwest long to see you in person, to hug you, to say thank you, and to share memories.
But out of an abundance of caution, we have come to a difficult decision to hold our memorial service virtually. We recognize and openly name the pain of ongoing separation, especially in times of grief.
No matter where you are or when you are viewing this, you are welcomed in this space.
Your stories matter. Your grief matters.
In our time together, you will be invited to light a candle, or many candles, for those you are remembering. At this time, please feel free to gather your candle and tissues.
Tonight you will be invited to name out loud those you are holding on your heart. Together we will wander through times of singing and moments of silence.
Find yourself a comfortable seat. Dim the lights if needed. Allow yourself to take deep, steady breaths. We welcome you to this time and space.
Family and friends, we gather here in the protective shelter of God's love. We are free to pour out our grief, release our anger, face our emptiness, and know that God still cares. We gather as beloved people, conscious of others who have died, and of the frailty of our own existence here on earth.
We come to comfort and to support one another in our common loss. We gather in the name of the fire and the flame and of the light. We gather to hear God's word of love that can drive away our despair and begin to reveal within us a beacon of hope.
We gather to remember and to commend to God the lives of those we love. Gracious is our God who hears our cries and comes to us now in our grief and in our sadness. May the memories of those we love kindle the fires of hope within our hearts.
You know, the impact of the COVID pandemic is real for all of us, whether we are touched by it directly or indirectly.
This evening, we share a ritual to recognize how death and our grief have been impacted due to COVID-19, to note the particular pain of grieving in isolation, as well as to lift up gratitude for all those on the front lines.
Here we have a candle. You may wish to find a candle of your own. Will you join me now in lighting this candle of grief and gratitude?
I invite you to join us in saying we light this candle. Then I will say a few words and invite you to speak the names on your heart. We light this candle.
We light this candle in honor of all those working on the front lines, in hospitals, nursing homes, grocery stores, and gas stations. I invite you now to name those who you know.
We light this candle
to send our love to those dying in isolation, especially those who we know and those who are loved by those we know. I invite you now to name those you know who have died of COVID-19 virus.
We light this candle
to send our love to all of those who are grieving deaths of all causes. I invite you now to name those that you know who are grieving.
We light this candle in grief in honor, in recognition, and most of all, in love.
These fleeting charms of earth, farewell, your springs of joy are dry. My soul now seeks another home, a brighter world on high. I'm a long time traveling here below. I'm a long time traveling away from home. I'm a long time traveling here below to lay this body down. Farewell, kind friends whose tender care has long engaged my love. Your fond embrace I now exchange for better friends above. I'm a long time traveling here below. I'm a long time traveling away from home. I'm a long time traveling here below to lay this body down. I'm a long time traveling here below. I'm a long time traveling away from home. I'm a long time traveling here below to lay this body down. To lay this body down.
Fire, prayer, and song have been used in rituals throughout human history. The content of each element may differ. Fire may be used to light candles on an altar space or create a bonfire large enough to warm an entire community. Prayers that are recited today may have been passed down from generation to generation, or the prayer may simply be the silence that is held between each breath. Our songs may be sung with or without instruments, alone or with a multitude of voices and harmonies. This time of year, as we adjust our clocks for daylight savings time, the days become shorter, the nights longer, I find myself clinging to fire, prayer, and song. There's an ancient practice called Taizé, which originated in Taizé, France. This practice has communities congregate to sing their prayers, often around a fire. And when the community is gathered, there are no pamphlets or programs that are handed out. Often there is little formal introduction or instruction. A voice will begin singing a simple refrain. Within our deepest night, you kindle a fire that never dies away. This same simple refrain is repeated again and again and again. And with each round, more voices join in, along with instruments that add to the harmony and help to keep a steady rhythm. Slowly, the song begins to rise among the community, voices joining in at various intervals or dropping off to listen deeply to the swell of fire, prayer, and song. Now, as you might imagine, if you repeat a single phrase over and over again, there may come a moment when the words stop making sense. You hit a wall and think, is there ever going to be another song to sing, or are we stuck in this infinite loop forever? Maybe in these moments you find yourself allowing your own voice to quiet, listening to the community around you as they continue to carry the refrain. Within our deepest night, you kindle a fire that never dies away. Maybe eventually you allow your silence to grow into a hum, A few words might escape your mouth, and without making a conscious effort, there may come a time when you are again singing the entire refrain. When our communities encounter death, we often gather together. Maybe not around a fire, but there are certainly candles, and perhaps our own burning grief is fire enough. There are no instructions given to us on how to grieve. Someone might stand up and offer a few words. The name or names of those we loved who have died are lifted up. Their names, the memories we attach to them, become a refrain that rises among the community, and we remember together again and again. This prayerful remembrance becomes our living song. Just as fire flickers and moves, always in motion, so too our grief is always in motion. It's not a static note that holds on forever and ever, but an infinite loop through which we travel together. The moments may come when our grief swells to overwhelm and we find ourselves with quiet voices, unable to sing the refrain of our loved ones. So we sit. It is here in these moments our friends, our family, our chosen families keep watch with us and continue to sing when our voices grow faint. Maybe perhaps the silence will ebb into a soft hum of the melody. Maybe a few words will once again slip from our mouths. And without realizing it, there may come a day when we find that we are the ones singing the refrain, while a friend next to us sits quietly within the chorus. Within our deepest night, you kindle a fire that never dies away. Fire, prayer, and song. How we have gathered has changed. We are co-creating this moment, me in my home, you in yours, joining with those who are viewing this now and those who will view it in the days to come. But here, right now, we are gathered. Our prayers have changed and will continue to change. And our song, beloveds, our song, the melody remains, but the words are always evolving. We cannot offer one another instructions on how to grieve at this time. But what we can offer is the assurance that you do not grieve alone. Although your voice may be the only audible voice in your home right now, I promise others are singing along. In this moment, we lift up through pictures on the screen, through names spoken aloud in our readings, we lift up these loved ones as a refrain of our shared grief. It is a hard song to sing. Dear ones, the melody may be simple, but grief is a hard song to sing. Within our deepest night, you kindle a fire that never dies away. What if hope is the fire that never dies away? What if hope is the fire that stirs within us, keeping us always in motion, even within our grief? A hope that comforts us when our voices fall silent, and a hope that spurs us on to offer comfort to others. A hope that is tethered in fire, prayer, and song. Wherever you are, whenever you are viewing this, however faint or strong your voice feels in this moment, you are not alone. May the memories of those we love kindle within our hearts a fire of hope that never dies away.
Where do we go from this moment? If you still have the candle that we lit together earlier, you are invited to remain in this in-between space, feeling the warmth of the fire, watching the flame as it dances, and remembering those you love.
Our scattered community of Hospice of the Midwest is grateful for your time this evening. Thank you for trusting this space with your stories and memories. Thank you for tending the fires of hope alongside of us, and for allowing us to journey alongside of you. May the peace of this moment sustain us all until we meet again.
As short as the time from spark to flame,
so brief may the distance be between heart and being.
May we discover beneath our fear embers of anger to kindle justice.
May courage cause our lives to flame.
In the name of the fire,
of the flame,
and of the light.
Nobody knows how to say goodbye. Seems so easy until you try. Then the moment has passed you by. Nobody knows how to say goodbye. Nobody knows how to get back home. We set out so long ago. Search the heavens and the earth below. Nobody knows how to get back home. Through the darkness into the dawn, I look back, you were gone. Heard your voice leading me on. Through the darkness into the dawn. Love is deep as the road is long. Moves my feet to carry on. Beats my heart when you are gone. Love is deep as the road is long. Nobody knows how the story ends. Live the day, do what you can. This is only where it began. Nobody knows how the story ends. Nobody knows how the story ends.